This is a different kind of video, for me at least, but while I usually talk about the Bible, I just happened to catch this video of some scary stuff in the sky and just wanted to share it with everybody. This is April 11th, and I caught this on my video 2 days ago on April 9th, Tuesday, April 9th. The video was taken on my cell phone in my car through the sunroof of my car. And the actual first video, it's two of them, is 1 minute 52 seconds, which I've included all of it here in this video that I'm uploading. And as you see it playing, I'll explain what I was seeing and thinking and why I pulled out my cell phone camera. By the way, the hand movements are awful. I guess if I normally was taking videos of stuff in the sky, I would probably learn by now to keep my hand more steady. But anyway, at first when I saw it, I saw the sun up in the sky. The whole sky over London, Ontario, which is where I saw this and took the video, London, Ontario, Canada, the whole sky had those unnatural looking cloud formations, right? We know they've been putting stuff in the air and calling it clouds. So the whole sky was like very overcast. There seems to be a lighter looking cloud higher up, and the darker thick clouds is what I would call unnatural clouds that people made. And that was the way it was for most of the day. And by the way, this was taken at what time? I'll tell you the exact time. This was Tuesday, April 9th, 2019 at 3:30 p.m. when I made this video. And then the second video was about 50 minutes later at 4:20 p.m. And I'm going to show that video again as well, excuse me. So the sun was in the sky and there was this bright spot, and I'm like, okay, that's the sun being blocked out by the unnatural cloud formations. Then while I saw the sun through the small little patches that you can see sometimes in the video I'm showing, there were small little patches of blue, and I could see the actual sun, very bright. Then I saw what I thought was a second sun coming in from my left and traveling to the right of me, which is the way it's happening here on the screen, traveling to the right. Now, the part that I saw it, there was a slight more empty spaces that you could see, but the unnatural cloud formations were moving in more to cover it up. When I first saw that second sun or moon, which I thought was first the moon, I'm like, okay, that's the moon. The moon is there while the sky is showing the sun. And the moon was slightly darker, but as it moved closer to the sun, it started to get a little bit brighter. So that's making me think all these things that people talk about. Oh, the sun is just plasma, or the moon is plasma, or the moon is not really an object. It's just some, whatever they call it, it's just some light or transparent stuff, whatever. I don't know what it is. But when I first saw the moon at the left and the sky over to the right, it just looked like the moon. But then it started to get brighter. So I'm like, is it like some second sun? I hear people talking about second sun. But I said, no, it's probably just the moon coming in. So I said, I'll pull out my camera. And as I was trying to get my camera, because it was in the trunk, another cell phone camera, not the cell phone that I used, because I had two cell phones with me, but one was off and in the trunk. That one that was off and in the trunk, it takes, I like the pictures, it takes better in the videos. So I was going to go for it to get better, a little better picture. But by the time I was trying to do that, I'm like, oh, the moon or second sun, whatever it is getting away, because now the clouds it's slipping behind the unnatural dark cloud formations. And again, as you can see, the brighter clouds in the picture in the sky, they're a little bit more higher in the sky. So the darker clouds that seem unnatural to me are what people would call the fake clouds, right? The man-made clouds that are lower or closer to us, closer to the earth. So these ones have been moving in throughout the day, the unnatural lower cloud formations. And so they're moving, moving, moving. So it's starting to cover up the sun, sorry, the moon. So I'm like, it's going to get away. So I ditched the plan to get the second camera and pulled out my first cell phone and started to film it. So by the time I turned on the camera to start the video recording, I had already lost the regular sun up in the sky that I saw first, and the first part of the moon traveling at what seemed to be a fast speed. That's not normal for me to see the moon moving or the sun moving in the sky at that speed. So by the time I started it, I missed that part. Like, I saw it with my own eyes, but I didn't get it on the camera to show you guys. But anyway, at the part where it started is what you're seeing on the screen. So now, as I go on now, if you look at a certain part that's, well, gee, I don't know what timing it's going to be on the whole video after I upload the whole stuff and edit it by, like, putting in my name and so on. But if you can do your own timing from the part where you see the sky starting to show up in the video, which I guess it would be from the start of my whole video anyway. But anyway, for me here, looking at it, the first video is 1 minute and 52 seconds, and at about 10 seconds, I can see what looks to be that first moon or sun, because at first, before the video started, it was looking darker, and by the time it traveled right here, it started to look brighter. So I'm thinking, okay, the sunlight is probably hitting it or what, I don't know. I just can't explain it. So I started to say it's a sun, but then I said no, the sun is to the right of it that I just saw before I started the camera, so that would make two suns. So even though it looks brighter now, it must just, I don't know, it's probably just the moon looking darker because it was behind more of the dark clouds. But now that it's coming out into the thinner part of the clouds, now I'm seeing the moon looking brighter. But then it was starting to get a little bit too bright, so I said it's probably the sun. But then I said, no, that would make two suns in the sky. So I said it must be the moon. I kind of settled on it being the moon, but it was just moving too fast to seem normal to me. Now, as I go on past this 10-second point, it keeps traveling and the unnatural clouds are moving as well. I was just trying to get more view of the sky, but it'll come back in. So now, if I pause it here at 31 seconds, it's starting to move now into a little bit of a brighter spot here. Where that little, what I would call or think was the moon, wouldn't be producing all of this brightness. So it seems something strange was going up there. I don't know if this is just like the moon, a second sun, or some other object they've put up there to do whatever with, to experiment, practice, do whatever, I don't know. Or if it's just really the sun and the moon, or two suns or whatever, causing all of this bright spot. But anyway, you can see they're moving at 34 seconds, 35 seconds. Now it's going behind a little bit of a dark patch, but you can still see it through the dark patch. Then now look, we just saw at about 31 seconds, it was in a bright spot, and now it's coming to another much brighter spot. Now this much brighter spot is where I was looking at the original or the first sun, meaning the sun that I saw before all the extra cloud moved over it. and I called that sun the regular sun. It was just a sun before I spotted this second object that I'm calling a moon, or possibly a second sun, probably just the moon. So it has now traveled from a little bright spot that it was at about 31 seconds or so, like 10 or 15 seconds ago, and now it has approached a second bright spot. So I'm wondering, why is there a second bright spot? But this bright spot seems much brighter. It's the sun. So we can see it's still moving. You can see how fast this is moving. I have never noted the moon to move that fast. Then it's going into the bigger bright spot, which just seems like there's just not as much darker clouds, or, like unnatural clouds right here. Or maybe the sun is just that much closer, so it's burning through the unnatural clouds a little bit more. So if we wait a few more seconds now, up to about 59 seconds, 1 minute, 101 second, 102 seconds, you'll eventually see it push through to the right of the bright spot, the very bright spot, and start to exit on the right side as I pan out a little bit. I'm panning in again, coming in again. You'll soon see it exit. See, it's exiting the right side, upper right side of the very bright spot, and it's just going to continue. It's going back into a small bright spot, and then it will exit again and go on into the darkness. And then I'll shortly end the video in another 15 to 20 seconds, as I kind of lost the moon, or that second object. So I ended the video recording. Then I went into a store because I was in a public spot, like a parking lot, to go to a store. I went into the store, and the cloud formation, like I said, was there for most of the day. From in the morning it was building up, and it was most of the day, because for the past 2 or so weeks I've been watching the sky a little bit extra, because I could see a lot of planes spraying again over London, Ontario, spraying a lot of stuff from the planes in the sky. And later in the evening, or by the next morning, we're getting very, very thick looking clouds in the sky, and then colder weather, or much cooler weather, and even some rain. So I went into the store after I stopped this video. That was 1 minute and 52 seconds. And by the time I came out, 50 minutes later, that's 50 minutes later, it was 4:20 p.m. Now, that first video I recorded when I spot the first strange stuff in the sky, 3:30 p.m. Now it is 4:20 p.m. So 50 minutes later, I came out. And the second video, now when I came out, the sky was bright like this now. Now, even though the unnatural looking clouds were in the sky for most of the day, there were small spots where I could see the brighter sun, like this, right? But not as bright, but still bright. And when I came out, this was what I saw in the second video that I snapped, about 45-second video for this second video. So it's like, to me, I was thinking, they knew this object was going to be passing by, the moon or whatever the object was, and they wanted to maybe stop it, just based on all the stuff people are saying out there about moon and sun in the sky at the same time, and whatever, second sun, all these kinds of stuff. I don't know about these things, but people say all this stuff. And it's like they were aware that this stuff was going on and wanted to maybe hide it. So they filled up the sky with this thick, dark cloud, so you couldn't see it. But obviously, I was just maybe in the right place at the right time, looking up in the sky, and just saw it. Because I was getting out. I just turned off my car to go into the store and looked up to close the sunroof, and saw the second stuff that I thought was the moon in the sky. That's why I pulled out the camera. But 50 minutes later, now that that whole stuff had passed and maybe there was no need to hide anything anymore, then the clouds just cleared up, the unnatural clouds. So you see all these white looking clouds, that's what was there earlier. And it seems, what I've been noticing lately is that these are the clouds that seem to reflect or get more of the light from the sun. But the darker clouds are like underneath all of that, all of this cloud, the whiter looking clouds, and closer to the earth, so closer to us, and they're the ones that's blocking the other clouds. So in the first video, the thick dark clouds, they're blocking the light of the sun, and so you can't see what's going on with that moon or second object that was above the darker clouds. Um, and so anyway, whatever you guys make out of it, this is my first time ever really looking into this stuff. I remember a long time ago I made one video just saying I saw the sun and the moon at the same time in the sky, and I took a couple of pictures of it long time ago, but I don't think I ever made a video of that because it wasn't a big deal. Lots of people see sun and the moon in the sky at the same time, but I was just shocked about 3 or 4 years ago when I saw sun and the moon in the sky, and it came home to me that we were taught as children sun and the moon cannot be in the same part of the sky at the same time, because if you're over here on this side of the earth, you need the sun if it's daytime, and the other people on the other side of the earth are going to have the moon over there because it's night for them. Now I'm realizing that's not true, because either we've got more than one moon or this flat earth stuff is real, but something is not right about what we were taught, because there's no way in daytime, 3:30 p.m., I should see sun and moon. And other pictures I've caught over the years, which I can't dig them out right now, but I've taken pictures of the sun and the moon in the same part of the sky, here in London, Ontario, Canada, at like 9:30 a.m., 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 11:30 a.m., and so on. So the people on the other side of the earth, they don't have either sun or moon? How can they be denied both when we were told that one will always be on one side of the so-called globe? So whatever benefit this video gives to you guys, I was more than eager to upload it. Thanks for listening. And actually, I just wanted to add here as well that I was looking up about the full moon, because if it was the moon I saw, which I certainly thought at first before I pulled out my camera, then they're saying a full moon usually would occur every 29.5 days. All right, like I'm reading from this website at telegraph.co.uk, some science website, and the article is titled Full Moon Dates for 2019, including April's Pink Moon. The website here is the Telegraph News Science. And partway down it says, how often does a full moon occur? A full moon occurs every 29.5 days and is when the moon is completely illuminated by the sun's rays. It occurs when Earth is directly aligned between the sun and the moon. Now, from the videos I showed you that I took on my cell phone, or the first video that I caught on my cell phone, the Earth certainly did not seem to be aligned between the sun and the moon. Because I'm looking at both the sun and the moon being in the same spot in front of me. So it didn't seem to make sense to me. Plus, if it's every 29.5 days that the full moon should happen, then I was looking up the moon phases, and from this calendar-12.com, it says moon phases April 2019, and it shows for April, you see me showing a snapshot of the website with the moon phases, and April 11th is highlighted, which says first quarter, but that's not the one. That's just the day that I'm recording this, and so their website is highlighting the 11th. But 2 days ago on April 9th, when I saw the stuff and took the videos with my cell phone, it's saying here the waxing crescent visible 17%. So I guess they're saying only 17% of the moon would be visible, but if it was the moon I saw, which I showed you in the picture, it was full 100% round moon, or seconds on, whatever it was. It looked to me like it was the moon at first, right before I started the recording, because it was a little bit darker, And so I said, oh, that's the moon. But as it got closer to the light, by the time I started the camera, then it started to look brighter. But at least on the 9th, if it was the moon, it did say the waxing crescent. But you know the little, if you look down here on the screen that I'm showing with the other phases of the moon, like the week of the 14th, 15th, and so on, the usual patches in the surface of the moon that they call craters or whatever they really are, I saw those things, so I'm like, okay, it's just the moon. But then as it got brighter, it kind of, I couldn't see those details anymore. So I said it's just the moon. But if we look on the calendar, it says the full moon should happen nearly about a week and a half later from the 9th. It should happen, the full moon should be on the 19th. Because I got here full moon 99% on the 18th, but on the 19th, full moon visible 100%. Even though they just told you from the other website I read that the full moon occurs every 29.5 days. So according to the calendars that we're being given, full moon should not be visible in the sky until the 19th, which is still not yet come, but should come near the end of next week. So we're not even in next week yet, and I was seeing a full moon up in the sky, traveling fast from the left to the right toward the sun, going past the sun, although by that time the sun was blocked out by the unnatural clouds. But before I started the video, I could actually see the sun properly in the like with my bare eyes through the sun roof. I could see it, but then quickly it got covered over. So if it's not time for the full moon, how is it that I was seeing what I thought to be a full moon on the 9th of April 2019 when the full moon should have happened next week, was scheduled to happen next week, April 19th, according to the information we're being given?